What will it take to get them out? We know the offense has been struggling back to the London series.
Bryce Harper. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take Bryce Harper. He's the engine, the catalyst. He is everything. He is the sun, the moon, the earth, everything to the Phillies universe. He has to get going. Okay. And I really believe there's a trickle-down Bryce Harper effect.
Okay. So what?
That's it. That's my answer. Final answer. Bryce Harper needs to get going. And Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber and JT and everyone will fall in line and it'll be fine again. And I want to go back to that good baseball where Bryce Harper could potentially murder a baseball and send it to Passyunk Avenue at any given moment. Passyunk. The Avenue, cuz. I used to always like Anthony because he grew up calling it the Avenue. Yeah. So I used to always say, "Oh, Passyunk Ave," and he would be like, "You wanna?" But yeah, that's the answer. Do you guys see something else?
Yeah. So I think it's that Bryce is a big part of that because let's be honest, Trey Turner with his 10 home runs in July had been doing well. We've seen Kyle Schwarber had this past weekend a trio of home runs. It's not enough if it's not consistently the guy. And the guy is Bryce. So I actually agree that is the answer.
That is the answer.
That is the answer. The only answer.
Most answer commonly given. Bryce Harper, please return to form.
Listen, you got the answer with AI. You got the answer with Bryce Harper. I do feel like bigger than that for Bryce and for everyone, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, is to when you have so many losses and you are struggling. I mean, this is their third straight loss in a row. They lost 5 of the last 6. The offense is struggling. And as much as I know Rob Thompson was talking about the bullpen's got to come out and throw strikes, they've got to get out of their head. They've got to trust their stuff. Starting pitching has to stop walking guys. Like, you can look at the pitching staff, but to be honest, for the pitching staff, they're holding teams. Like you look at yesterday, it was 4-1. We've seen them up 3, a couple, 2 runs, 3 runs. They have blown a number of 3-run leads. In fact, it's been about at least 19 times this season. Since June 22nd, they've blown 5 games where they had a 3-run lead. They've had 5 times since July 19th where they blew a 3-game lead. 5 individual times within a game. And we saw that happen one game. It happened twice. So for the Phillies, they are blowing leads. And yes, you can point to the pitching staff for that. But I also point to the offense needing to continue to put teams away. Tyler shared the crazy note, 1 in 5 games where a team blows a 3-run lead, basically it ended up being. Like 20% of the time they end up losing. When you're up by 3, you got to make that 4, then 5. And I think the Phillies right now, because of the losses, are so fixated on, we got to get back to winning, we got to get out of this slump, that they're trying to win the game in one play. And any sport is not won or lost in one play. You've got at least 9 innings to win the game. Focus on winning that at-bat. Focus on making that catch, making that play. So it's not even just an offensive thing. I think everybody on the Phillies just has to lock into their role. Like, make the catch, make the play. Brandon Marsh made some good plays in the outfield, even the right field. Make the play to help your team get closer to winning. And if you're not trying to be a hero and play hero ball and win it all in one at-bat, all in one pitch, all in one catch, one double play, whatever it may be, now you're going to get more wins. But it just feels like they're overthinking. And even like the body language I always talk about, because I pay so much attention to what are they doing around the field? What does everybody look like? How are they, what's the vibes like? What's all that looking like? It just feels like they're too focused in their own head on me. I got to help the team. I got to put the team on my back. No, they've been winning as a team. They've been losing as a team. Get back to winning as a team and letting the game come to you versus like forcing it. So it does start with Bryce.
Please just become MVP. just become MVP Bryce again, and all will be well. It's just that simple right now. It seems like it's contagious. Mm-hmm. He's your biggest, baddest dude, and he's got to be that, and he knows it. I mean, he told you after the game this weekend. This team's been funky since London. So can we just blame MLB for international scheduling and sending this season off a cliff? That's fine with me. You want to blame Rob Manfred for sending them across the Atlantic Ocean? That works because it's been off since then. The offense is just, it's been weird. Whit Merrifield, their record since they got rid of him. I mean, was Whit Merrifield the Phillies MVP? a lot of people are saying that, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird, and it's going to take your best players to pull you out of it. And it starts with Trey Turner and Bryce Harper.
Definitely.
And Trey did have an oddly good power month, but like the rest of the month.
He did. We're still in July, Trey.
Yeah.
you dipped off. You were starting off as like a shoo-in to be player of the month for July, and then has been over lately. I know in the chat you guys are saying John P. saying that they need to put July behind them and change the calendar to August. I do hope that the change of August into August tomorrow will be helpful as well. You guys are talking to the pitching. Yes, the pitching. And the other thing is, which is worse right now, the pitching slump or the offense? Because the pitching.
I think the batting's worse.
I feel like you can win games as a shootout.
Because Ranger was hurt.
As a home run derby where you're where you're outscoring the opponent and ends up being like a 14-11 game. But no matter how great your pitching is, it's very difficult to win if you're not getting hits, if you don't have the run support. And so the pitching has been carrying this team, which is partly why the pitching right now has hit a wall, because we remember in the very early months of, April, end of March, April, even May, when it wasn't the offense that was helping this team win, it was the pitching. It was them being able to have complete game shutouts, having the best 4 guys with the best ERA across the NL, across Major League Baseball, and they needed the offense to get going. The offense did start getting going around June Schwarber, around the start of around Memorial Day weekend even. But since then, both have struggled. We haven't seen that this season.
Yeah,
it's usually one
the
or the other
rotation had come back to earth reality.
Right.
They were pitching at such an absurd rate. Maybe that's why I'm not as offended by their drop off, because they went from a freakish 4 starters amongst the top 5 or 6 ERA in the National League to now probably being a little more realistic. Zach Wheeler looks like he's coming back into shape. Ranger, I think his kind of weirdness over those last 4 or 5 starts, you kind of look at the IL stint now as like, all right, at least you can justify why he might have slipped off. Christopher Sanchez, I think, has been tremendous. And then Tyler Phillips is now the team's stopper, so that's pretty cool. And then
they always play well when he's pitching.
Yeah, and Aaron Nola is just like kind of what you expect from Nola. Goes out there great some games.
Yeah.
Other games either does or doesn't get the run support. When he struggles, he's kind of been classic Nola, where sometimes he looks great and then sometimes he doesn't. So I think I'm more offended by the batting slump, because this offense just feels kind of, I don't know, off and rotten a little bit.